Welcome to the forum of the real producers. We are here to learn their secret formula. If there's any secret formula, I'm thinking that they want to share with us. Today, let me introduce Enando Manzano. Enando Manzano, he was the Rookie of the Year in 2024 at the Ambassador Club. Just for you to know, Ambassador Club needs to sell gross commission income of at least 125,000. And he was also the Rookie of the Year that year. That was his first year as a realtor. 2025 President Club goal for you to know that is 175,000 gross commission income. Okay. And he was also the top listing gross commission income in all South Florida. So, welcome everyone. And then we also we have here in the second share Anabela Arana. Anabela Arana, when she was in 2022, she won the Certificate of Achievement. 2023, she won Executive Club. Just for you to know, Executive Club, you need to sell at least 75,000 gross commission income. In 2024, she increased to President Club. For President Club, you have to sell at least 175,000. And then she jumped into 2025 President Club Gold. President Club Gold, you need to sell at least 175,000 gross commission income. And we have our dear Rosalinda Fonseca. When she started in the company in 2016, she was the Rookie of the Year. From 2017 to 2024, she has been part of the Executive Club. Executive Club, you have to sell at least 75,000 gross commission income. And in 2025, she won Certificate of Achievement. That is closing at least 45,000 gross commission income. Welcome, Rosalinda. We have 1 hour and we want to respect everyone's time. So the question will be by group and every group of questions will have a maximum of 10 minutes. At the end, you can do the questions and answers, okay? Starting with you, Fernando. How long have you been in real estate?
Okay, so officially, I've been a realtor for 2.5 years. So I started in 2004, and that's when I did the Rookie of the Year. My story goes back to 2005 when I become a mortgage broker. So I pretty much been in
real estate, but
in real estate.
not realtor.
Oh, no, correct. Officially.
Why did you decide to get the real estate license and to continue your career in real estate, but different from mortgage?
Well, because I saw that new opportunities. Okay, so I saw people asking, friends asking about, hey, you do real estate? And I was like, oh, I don't do real estate. They knew I was in the business, but I wasn't doing it, so that's why I pursued it.
And you really took advantage of the opportunity.
Correct.
How long did it take to sell or to close your first deal?
Okay, so my first deal was I got my license in 2024, like in January. I closed my first deal like in the beginning of February.
Wow. Now let's pass to Anabela.
The client was waiting for you.
Yeah. No, exactly.
Anabela, how long you have been in real estate?
8 years.
8 years?
Yeah.
Why and how did you get into real estate?
So when I moved to Miami, with my associate, was a thing that I chose to come here to the United States. For some reason, I started working at a property management company, helping them, and that's the moment when I, started knowing real estate. And of course, I know that I'm a person that I love to sell and I'm so passionate. So I start helping them to show properties. And I go when I fall in love being a realtor.
How long it took you to do this first closing?
I think like closing or rent.
Or your first deal?
Okay, my first deal was like 3 months later. My first rent and was the most challenging, transaction ever. But I had a mentor at that time, so it helped me a lot. And then it took me 5 months for my first close.
That's great. The average is 6 months, so that's really good. Now let's go to Rosalinda. How long have you been into real estate?
10 years.
Yeah. Why did you get into real estate?
I got into real estate because I was on the flipping. So I was buying properties, flipped them up, and then I noticed that a bunch of the compensation goes to the realtors. And that's when I decided to become an agent.
I know, no, I have to take part of the money.
Yes, yes.
How long it took you to do the first deal?
I was so lucky because what happened is that when I was taking the real estate course, I was telling everybody, I'm taking the course, I'm taking the course. And a friend of mine, even before I had my license, she was working with another realtor. But they were like 6 months and she couldn't find anything. And she's one of my best friends. So it took me, I put my lesson on a Thursday and on Sunday we were showing properties and we closed in 30 days.
Oh my God. Well, that's record.
It's, yes, and I was lucky. I was very lucky.
So stay with the microphone because we will go now to the next part. Since you have the microphone, I will ask you, okay? Where do most of your clients come from?
At the beginning of my business, they came from Anyway. I was committed myself to find at least 5 contacts a day. So what I did was like if I didn't have those 5 contacts, I went to Walmart, Publix, and tried to have a conversation. So a lot of clients they came from people that I didn't know. But of course, once you have a contract with a person, they start referring you. So after a while, most of my contacts they came from referrals and past clients.
So it's mostly like source of influence.
Yes, yes.
And it's basically you respond to something of that. What is your business model?
Okay, my business model, I focus more on listings now, but before I was focusing more on investors. So I studied, like the cap rate. I was focusing in trying to find clients that could invest here in the United States. And the business is very important when you, because your website, everything is focused on your business model. So I started with investors. And then I have over the past year, I rather do this.
Oh, so your target is investors and now you're targeting sellers. Why sellers?
Oh, because the business is double. I mean, every seller, once they sell, they want to buy. When you buy with buyers, most of the time you have to wait 5 or 10 years for them to sell their house again. When you work with sellers, you have double size. Because most everybody, they want to sell because they want to move either downsize or upgrade.
Now to you, Navera. Thank you so much for saying that. Oh, I forgot one question. If you lost, right now that you are running in the wheel, normally when you jump into the wheel, you continue in the wheel. But if for some reason you see yourself with no business, what you will do?
I will be outside looking for people. As a matter of fact, I'm already started doing that because of my new clients. As you know, I was spending 5 years here, so most of the people, they don't see me as a realtor anymore. So that's one of the reasons I wanted to just create Director of Career Development. And what I did, like, I talked to everybody. Like, I was the other day with a mama, and a lady was sitting next to me, and I got a client from her. So it's talking to people, not in a way I'm a realtor. No, I started a conversation and I was asking her if she knew about the new mammogram. And we started talking. And we have so much in common that at the end she said, what do you do? Oh, I'm a real estate agent. Oh my God, I want to buy a house in December, so give me your number and your contact. That's the way it's done. Always talking to people, but in a way that you don't show yourself as that you're selling yourself, but more like getting, the engagement with that person. That's how you have to start. it.
Definitely.
Yes.
Thank you for telling me that. Now, Anabella, same questions. Where do most of your clients come from?
At the beginning, from families and friends, for sure, my direct circle. So my first sale was for a friend, and after that, he felt super. My best recommendation for you, and I'm still doing, be honest. Like, if it's not your first transaction, say it's my first transaction, but don't worry. We have backup, whatever you need. If I don't know, I will ask because I'm learning with you. So he believed in me. I was with a great lawyer at that time. So at the end, he did everything for me. So he explained me all the process. So yes, directly from family and friends.
And now, what is your business model?
Oh my God. Okay, I don't have the answer. So I structured as Rosalinda because being realistic, I don't know if I have a model, but I know that I have, I love what I do. So I'm trying to, all the time be on top of everything, try at least to connect. I'm gonna mix, merge the two questions. So what the first thing I say is just connect with people. Okay, connect with people. At the beginning, I was working a lot of with tenants. Right now, I'm not focused in listings for buyer. I'm present that I do everything. Whatever you need, I'm there. So I can say like the 70% of my clients are buyers right now. I love being a listing agent, but maybe I've never realtors that I love being buyers agents.
And who is, well, you just said your target market. I've been seeing you very active in social media and very creative. So maybe don't underestimate, underestimate that because that is also
Yes.
a way to generate trust from the people that are seeing you.
No, yeah, actually, well, like year and a half ago, I was super hyper active on social media, and at the end, you are your brand. So that year, I think that 5 people came from social media. So I have a really good transaction. Some leads came from my Instagram, and people remind that, yeah, they sometimes they forget what you're doing, but when you start showing, yourself, don't feel ashamed, like do it because every time they remember, and I love the realtor, and I love the realtor, so there's like you're the brand. So if they're seeing, how it works and everything, it's a good way, to get leads.
If you see yourself today or tomorrow with no clients at all, what would be your next step?
Yeah, doing a lot of social media, maybe buying leads from Ciro, if I don't have. But at the end, I think that you will always have clients when you start your first transaction because everything is about referrals.
To receive referrals, you have to do everything.
Like for me, yeah, everything is about referrals. Yeah.
Referrals on social media because you did 5 transactions.
Well, that year, yes, was impressive.
Same question for you, Orlando. Where do most of your clients come from?
Referrals. Much when I started the business, the first thing I did was go on my phone and I started scrolling down my phone and I'm not kidding, I did. And I started texting, people from my address book and, asking, hey, by the way, I started a business. Okay. I started with that, a deal on that, business. So after that, it's just being referral business.
The 3 of them have something in common, referrals. So your business model, what do you say about that?
Well, I do everything. I mean, but obviously I know buyers and pretty much know why. Sellers obviously I know listings, working having a listing, you can be anywhere and doing all other activities. So, on rentals, obviously, I go,
When you said that it can be anywhere, if you are a listing agent, what do you refer to?
well, when you have listing, the buyer agent is the one who's gonna sell the house. But honestly, you wanna, be there on top of it.
But it's not flexible.
Yeah, I mean, if you need to go out of the country or whatever, you still gonna be trying to sell the house, but, when we're here, I'm always trying to obviously show property. At the end, you're the one that's gonna sell it.
But personally, for you, you prefer to work with buyers or with sellers?
That's a good question. I like buyers because I can do a lot for them. So, right at the beginning,
Repeat that someone here didn't listen.
okay, so when I work with buyers, I do not own the transaction, some low loss or the transaction. So starting that deal, I'm already
When you go,
ready to go.
Financiamiento.
yes, you can do the whole task.
Obviously, like Orlando said, I have the listing, it's great because typically a seller is gonna buy.
Yeah.
Okay, so it can be either downsizing or upsizing. I've done it, like I've sold a house on my second transaction in real estate, my second one. I sold the house, I bought a new one, and I did a loan. So I did so yeah,
Small business.
my second transaction, I, pretty much, nailed
Yeah.
like 67,000.
Cling, cling, cling.
If today you see yourself with no leads, nothing to work, where do you start?
Okay, so something that's worked for me, not in real estate because for some reason, my business had found through referral channel. But something I can tell you that really works, is direct mail. I know direct mailing because my direct mailing is farming.
Copy, farming.
Farming works, so it really works. In my mortgage business, I know it's expensive, to do farming is expensive. You need to spend thousands of dollars a month. I used to spend $2,000 a month to farm. Okay, in my mortgage business. Okay, but at the end, you're gonna have you're gonna see at the end, you're gonna see results.
Yeah, it's a high return on investment.
So I'm sure I'm 100% sure that real estate is going to work. I haven't done it, but
No,
you can
it's
see.
definitely doing farming is necessary. At the beginning, we'll be sending postcards that no one will reply to, but when they see the repetition, they gain their trust, they start buying.
There's a lot of competition, but they see
It's
you as
consistent. Thank you. Now let's start with the different questions. Describe a productive day in your life.
well, today going to this appointment and transform the listing appointment to a listing and start the process and hopefully
What day for you? How do you start your day?
a normal day could be published.
A normal.
What activities do you do daily to be productive?
Sobre el bebé, no puedes hacer.
No too much sleep.
Es libre.
Describe when you start your day and you have your goal or you are satisfied with it, then yes, this was a productive day.
Well, maybe of the golden days, going to I don't know, an event.
Networking.
And exactly, networking also is a great thing to do. And just transform a prospect, this prospect.
What activities you never skip in a productive day?
Again, networking for me has worked a lot, because you meet people, it's important to be out.
Hey, you want to visit your brother, you want to be in front of the people, not in your house. What changed your results?
But change my results.
Yeah, because I can see that you have been increasing and increasing.
Well, something that I do believe in food is following up. So I know it's not the best thing to do, but following up is it's always gonna be you're gonna see a result as well. So follow up. Just like builds process.
Good. So habits, then we will say follow up. Something else that you want to add about good habits that makes a difference? Sometimes we do some things so naturally that we don't even realize that it's part of our work. When we are working, calling people, being some of them. Definitely that is. Now let's go with you, Annabella. Same questions.
Yeah, me calculate.
Describe a productive day in your life.
So a year ago, I realized that to have a productive day, I need to be good with me. But for me, it's exercise. So that's the best start, to start my day because I take care about me. I was a person that I didn't do anything, so there's sometimes overwhelmed. So I feel so frustrated. So I start, working on me, and then I have other to deal. So after that, I do the same thing as another for the all. Sometimes I feel super weird. So I am doing the cold calls. So I'm just doing sending emails and sometimes texts like, "Hi, how's everything? I'm here for you. If you need anything, I don't push, but I always be there at least once a month to let them know that I'm, on top of what I need."
That definitely is a good way to do it. It's organic, natural, but you are doing the work. That is supposed to be that is being top of mind and follows. Because when you disappear, it's like they forget about you. What activities you never skip? The organism that to start the day with exercise.
Never. Another thing is my coffee. No, the realistic is every time because I forget a lot, so I have an agenda. So I write everything. So that the names of my clients or prospects that I know that they think to sell or buy or everything is every Monday I look, and during the week there's something that I always do. I follow up and send emails or I write needs because sometimes you just send a text like how's everything. Sometimes I just send something that is happening in the market. Like, oh, I love this new, just to let you know. Oh, just to let you know, this apartment on your building was selling at this price. So every owner wants to know how's the market and the value of his property. So that's something that I try to do. It's new. I started doing that a few months ago. And right now I'm working in a listing presentation.
That's a great tip. Definitely, it is a great tip. And also, you heard her, she said that she put it in writing. And we have been talking about that if it's not in writing, it's not happening. Because we forget. We have our life, we get busy, and we can forget. What changed your results?
Mindset. That sometimes everyone, I think that having the same thing, you feel lost sometimes. You feel desmotivado, I don't know, upset. But when I have it that day, I said like doesn't matter. I will, take this feeling and the next day I start with another value. So for me, every time that I put something on my mind, I want to do this. For some reason, I work unconscious to get it right. So everything is in your mind. You want it, you get it.
So in summary, what are the habits that make the difference for you?
Well, trying to be more organized on that. If I'm organized and I have like some plan to do, that have been helping me a lot is exercise, trying to do my prospect, trying to follow up in a intelligent way, not the way that I want, to get a client to sell or to buy. Is I try to catch, their attention is something more creative as social media, send a creative post, or sometimes, another thing that I'm doing that I never do is be on top of their birthday and special dates for them. So that can feel, more close to them and they feel that you are more like a friend as a realtor.
And that is very important because when we do business with someone, we normally see their ID. And many of us don't even pay attention on that we have on our hands.
Yes.
Their date of birth, that you should take note of that and do the touch when it's the moment that comes. Thank you, Ana. Now with you, Rosalinda, what has been your biggest sell?
My biggest sale, a house in Miami, $2.7 million. Wow. And it was the third year of my business.
Oh, wow, the first year.
No, the third.
The third? How did you generate that opportunity?
Initially, they called me because I wanted to do a staging at the property. And I went and I noticed that the house was very particular because it was like a old Spanish house. And it was built custom made for the client, but red floors, the arcs everywhere. So it was gonna be very difficult to sell it. So when I did the staging, they kept it for a year with the listing agent. The listing agent didn't call me, the owner called me. And after a year, he called me, Rosalinda, would you like to take the listing? And so he with it after a year. She had it for a year, she couldn't sell it. And after a year, he called me and we got the listing. And we sold it like in 3 months. But it was a nightmare because they have Chinese word. And when the inspection came, it was a cash offer. And we thought it was gonna be, nobody wants a house with Chinese walls. And one of the things that we think we have the greatest thing is to negotiate. Okay? I don't think when something like this happens that it will fall through. It comes to negotiation. So I convinced the seller to change every wall because otherwise it wasn't going to be sold because Chinese wall is not possible. It damages your health. So it took us, that's why we closed like in 3 months because we got the cash offer right away on our first weekend to our open house.
And then I believe that it was also a lot to do with the staging that we did, right?
Yes, but believe me, I don't know because the staging was since a year ago. I guess the marketing is very important because you can promote a house, but she never took pictures from the staging, which I think was a mistake. So the pictures she was showing on the listing was an empty house. When we got the listing, we showed the pictures, so we got attraction better. So I don't know why she never took the pictures. I don't know why, because the staging was paid by the seller.
And he paid because he wanted to show the property well.
Yes, but she never took the pictures. And mistake, yes. And the staging, the purpose of the staging when you have a listing is to show it out, with nice pictures so people can visualize it.
So from that transaction, what lesson did you learn?
Negotiation. Everything in real estate is a negotiation. I mean, between buyers, sellers. If you're a great negotiator, you're good in this business. Because to have a buyer and maybe have a contract is easy. But when things comes, that's the hardest part. You have to understand, of course, that That's why when you do a listing presentation, the first thing that I do is seller disclosure and all the things that I do an inspection on the roof. And if they have a pool, I do an inspection for the pool. I don't want those things that are very expensive to come up on the inspection. So you have to prepare the house to sell. If you do that, then you have a better negotiation because always the houses, something is gonna come out, correct? So, but if you're ready and your clients understand that there is something on the house that they need to fix, then the negotiations. So it's about education.
Thank you, Rosalina. Ana, same question. What has been your biggest sale?
Yes.
How did you generate that opportunity?
It was, family member. So I would like to you.
Oh, that's funny. It's source of income. You know how many people are family members that you open a
But being honest, that happened all because I had a lot of experience in that moment. But that was my biggest sell. But I'm gonna tell you about my most challenging and how I get my first house in Key Biscayne and was 1.2 at that moment was my first year as a realtor. And I started doing like a listing presentation and it was so, how was it, rookie. Like, I don't know everything, like very new, anything. So I got to sell myself the house of a little mess. So that was so challenged, but I learned so much about that. So it's about believing you. If you for the reason I see, that's what I'm trying to talk about Wiker. Wiker is not just the name or anything, it's the support that you have when that moment comes. Because you can go to another company for 100%, but if you're alone, you are lost. But if you're in a place that you don't know how to do it and you get prepared, you can get whatever you want. In that case, I got the house for, I don't know, because they feel like, okay, you can do it. But at the end, I get, more houses and everything, and it's so challenging with this presentation, where I learned after 5 years, 4 years. So my business presentation comes from White. So right now I can do,
When you say that it comes from Wire, is that was an opportunity from the company? Was
no, the from White was how
The listing.
I think that I'm a person or realtor after I started White. I have like the best person that you can, help you and help me was Rosalina and Mike that is not here anymore. They were the two persons that I learned how to present a listing. And I don't know, sometimes you get so intimidated with your client and you feel fear that you can lose the listing. And that's not happened to me. But you need to understand their side and you need to understand yours. And the more secure that you are, you can get $10 million listing or you can sell whatever you want.
Same opportunity, where did you generate that data?
Well, because I started Cervera, so all my farmers are in Key Biscayne and Rico. So that's how I know the market and people there.
Cervera is a real estate company that focuses on development in Miami. For those of you that don't know. What lesson did you learn from there?
That you need to be super prepared when it comes to a big transaction. You need to know how to negotiate. And if you don't know, you need to find support. And believe, I don't know, in you and that you're capable, to do whatever you want and don't feel any fear or anything. If someone say like, this is not the price or I can't do that. No, you can. So.
Thank you, Anabella. Fernando, what has been your biggest sell?
1.4
Good. How did you generate that opportunity?
a neighbor.
But that is valid. How many neighbors we have that, oh my God, my neighbor sold the property without me because we're strict agents and they don't know they're going to real estate. How did it get closed? How was the process?
Well, the process was very,
It was
it
easy?
was, yeah, it was a process. I mean, I knew him from, we moved pretty much at the same time to the house. So, we kept being friends. He even moved to Colombia, and I check on his house all the time. And he decided to sell, and he decided to buy after that. So,
Tell me, this is out of script. Tell me about a transaction that has been very difficult. Why and what did you learn about that?
a transaction that has been very difficult. Well, first, if to get a house sold, you need to price it right. Price it right. Okay? So if you don't price it right in the beginning, it's going to be very tough. It happens to me. It has happened to me a lot. And if I, at the end, you try and to give advice to the seller, obviously, hey, this is a real valuable house, but at the end, he wants to make a value. Sometimes you have sellers like that, and you have to go through that. So I've had tough times, listing the house incorrectly, coming down, and sometimes losing the deal. So or at the end we sell it, but not the right price.
The learning lesson is priority.
Price it right. Okay.
I go back to that because in my experience, when I've been encountering with sellers that aren't realistic and they are the boss, okay, you are the boss. Let's do what you said. But in the listing contract, in the other notes, if your strategy doesn't work within 30, 45 days, let's try this. And I make that agreement before going to the market because it's easier. They are excited, they are in a good vibe because sometimes, even though you tell them, hey, it's too high, if you wait to renegotiate after you are already in the market, they are tired, they can start blaming you or they can feel like some sort of doubts of what you have been doing. And if you already have that set up in the listing contract, it's like automatic.
Yeah, because they will at the end, you're gonna do that. Good.
Exactly. What do you love about real estate?
I love negotiating. I think that's one of my passion. Being able to negotiate, and I love helping buyers get their true home. I love everything about
Is something like what do you dislike or don't like so much?
it. What do I don't like too much?
Mm-hmm. Or dislike?
Oh, what I just said, I mean, about of having a client that doesn't agree with you, I think it's one of the most challenging things in this business. Having that kind of, trying to agree with a client with a second.
Have ever crossed your mind to quit real estate? It's like, no, I can't deal with this anymore. Thank you, Nanda. Same thing for you. What do you love about real estate?
Meet people, new people. Um, I, I don't think I'm a better agent because I already found the house. That's my stay forever in my head. So yeah, that way that I or the new home or the perfect home for them, I mean, the experience.
It's very satisfying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you dislike?
That you don't have a payment. Every first and
That you don't have a
payment. So yeah, it's everything. Sometimes we saw inside. As I kept going in the taxes.
That
Where's the money?
That is important. Take part of your income.
That's no obvious.
Have you ever said, like, no, I can't deal with this anymore, I quit? Have you ever thought of
Every December.
that?
Every December.
By December?
Because at the end of the year, because an anxiety start because then I wonder what's gonna happen next year. I don't have clients. What's gonna happen? Because yes, that's your income, and it's gonna come February, so you need to pay taxes. And it's starting all of that, and every December for me is I have all my crises, and I want to start, having find another job, and my husband said they can manage. Everything will be fine, and
But you are great.
I'm still here for it's my 8 years, so yeah.
Thank you, Anabela. What about you, Rosalinda? What do you love about real estate?
I love everything about real estate because it's always change. New people, new transactions, not every transaction is the same.
New scenarios?
Yeah, new scenarios. I love working with people. And I love to teach. And I believe that we realtors, we are psychologists. Yes.
Indeed.
Yes, especially when you have a divorce, you become a psychologist. If the person, we have to be very humble when we're working with clients. Especially like if it's wife died, you have to be very careful to what you're gonna say. And most of the time, because I focus on the listing, sometimes it's hard, to tell them we need to take this out. So you have to have a heart in order to be a good agent. If you only think about the money, you are in the wrong
That's
business.
about agents.
Yes, you are in the wrong business. You have to think about the other.
What do you dislike, if any?
I dislike when I lose a deal. I mean, it happens.
It happens to everyone.
It happens to everyone. You think everything is gonna go smooth and then it doesn't close.
Have you ever thought about quitting real estate and do something
Never.
else?
Never, never.
What is your secret formula?
For what?
What is your secret formula? For your business?
Mindset. I believe that if you have a mindset, like what I do before I go to bed, I write 6 things that I have to be grateful about it. And in real estate, you find a lot of gratefulness because you're making people, you're making money. And so that's the first thing that I do before I go to bed. And then write 6 more of the things that I have to do this morning. You have to organize yourself. It's very hard. One of the things that I believe that agents don't do is that they don't read a calendar. You have to work with a calendar. So you have the activities that you need to do in your calendar because if not, it's not gonna happen. That's why I'm trying to come to the office because if I stay home, I start looking at the kitchen and then I have to complete the kitchen or I'm looking all the needs something. So that's why I like coming to the office because it gives me perspective of the things that I need to do. But always the business is out there. It's not in the office. The business is outside.
Thank you, Rosalinda. And your secret formula?
Select two weeks.
Mindset, mindset, and be yourself. Don't want to show something that they want to see. Show yourself, and they will fall in love with you, and they will feel secure with you.
The right ones will follow with you. If they are not the right one, they will know someone else. Thank you. Nando, your secret formula?
Well, I would say myself, so passion, passion is we call everyone saying the same thing.
What's it?
Mostly, today, what for thinking, what else about today. Like Rosalinda said, it's happening to me. Forget things because I'm thinking, and then all of a sudden I forget about what I was going to say too. I don't know if starting to write notes, write things. 2 days ago, I told my wife, just woke up, what's gonna do? She was like, write.
The to-do check,
Yeah.
everything that has been done, I work able to click in the Thank you so much. So we are now in the session of questions and answers. We have only 10 minutes. Who have a question for our panelists? It can be online or in person. Do I have any questions? No questions at all.
If you use social media, for how much do you use?
Well, I started doing social media because nowadays you need to be on Instagram and Facebook. People will recognize you. It takes long, and it's a lot of work, but I think it helps. Because what I do is I send videos to all my clients that I think that maybe they are going to be selling. And because I'm always providing the staging, it's with me, I stage your house and everything. So keep in mind, you never know when a seller is gonna buy, is gonna sell. You never know. My neighbor, that's what I told Ted the other day. That's what it opened my mind. My neighbor, which I used to work with her, used to be, very close friends. And I was, every morning I say, "You do patient at the dog," but because I don't work with her, the other day I saw the truck. She was moving. And I went, to her and I asked her, "What happened? Why didn't you hire me? Rosalinda, I thought that you weren't doing real estate anymore." Because people tend to forget. That's why this is a business, a hard business, because you have to be on top of your business every day. People forget about you. And so I was like,
That was
I
your
thought,
decision making.
no, what am I doing? I lost, which I was talking to her all the time, and she was done like 3 years ago. I don't put my house in the market in a couple of years. So because she saw me every day, with coming to the office and coming back, she said, "Oh, I didn't think that you real estate anymore." So those things happen.
And remember that we always, if you want to do farming in where you live, you have to send something. And if you are busy, because we are busy,
Yes.
especially a system that's setting for you. You can set up systems
Yeah.
that set market updates for you.
I want to add something. That's my advice with social media. You have Rosalina, for example, that she teach in the videos, she teach and explain about staging, how to sell. That's the way. My advice for you is she's that personality. Maybe yours is more to show whatever. Like, doesn't matter what you do in social media, but do something. That's my opinion. Because people all the time right now, that's the reality. They're scrolling all the time. So doesn't matter if you right now are working in Rico, showing progress in Rico. Just remind them. You don't need to talk. You can be the teacher. You can be the whatever you want. What I highly recommend is create some, for example, this Lisa.
Yeah.
She's a master in AI. So if you don't want to do, just use ChatGPT or Gemini or whatever. But it's a way, to show yourself. Doesn't matter how. But at least
And you can have an avatar that can do it for you.
that's another challenge.
Do I have
I
any
think now
way?
it's easier. I think now it's easier to create content than before.
Yeah, nowadays you just
Yeah.
ask AI your idea, you describe perfectly what you have in your mind, completely perfectly what you have in your mind, and it will develop your idea. Any other questions?
Hi, I'm new in this business and it has been only 2 weeks. I just joined. So what suggestion? So I need suggestion, how can I start my business? So what suggestion you all can give me?
Okay, do you want?
What I would tell you that you need to, first of all, put everybody in your database. That's the first thing that you need to do. Every content that you have in your phone, you have to target. Then you're gonna set your website and let them know that you're real estate. This is what I would do. Once they reply to your website, you can ask them, if you're not looking to buy or rent or sell right now, give me a referral. Do you know any neighbor or anybody in your area that would like to sell? I always ask for referrals. That's the best way. Even when I close, I ask for referrals. And there's always gonna be somebody. So you have to promote yourself because you are a brand new agent. But your website, you have an amazing website. It looks like Zillow. So I will send all your website to everybody in your database.
We have 4 more minutes. Do we have any other question? No? Well, thank you so much. Do you want to have some?
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. I saw you like you were about to start right?
No, we're passing it next.
Okay. So people, do I have any question? Well, thank you so much. It has been great. Thank you. Bye, everyone.